What's up, Instagram? Doing a live today because obviously there is a congratulations in order for Johnny Depp for prevailing in his defamation trial against Amber Heard. But more importantly, there is a congratulations in order to all of the women like me who, for the last, 4 years, have stood up to all of the attacks for refusing to back the MeToo movement, which has been an absolutely idiotic movement from the very beginning. And it really just, for me, it begs, out of all of the stupid movements, and for all of you people who jump on Instagram and Twitter looking for something to care about, like you treat every social cause like it's an ice bucket challenge. Like, you guys, like, I don't know, like, oh, thank you for nominating me to care about Black lives today. I'm going to post a black square. Blah. Thank you for nominating me to care about Ukraine today. I'm going to post a Ukrainian flag even though I can't even point to it on a map. Blah. Thank you for nominating me to put a mask on and take a picture and say, mask up, save lives. I'm going to do that because I'm an idiot and I just do whatever I find on Instagram that seems to be popular at the moment. Like, to you people who just never think, just never suspend yourself for a moment to think, right? And keep being proven over and over and over again that you're falling for fictitious narratives, falling for fictitious organizations, lining the pockets of predators, and supporting liars, because that's what the Me Too movement was all about from the very beginning. The Me Too movement trended with the hashtag Believe Women. Okay? A bunch of men out of nowhere were getting fired based off of allegations. Absent anybody ever exploring the details or observing the facts, people were just going, oh, okay, a woman said it, so we must therefore believe women. What? Believe women? Hashtag blanket believe women? Maybe you guys live in a place, a fairy tale land, I don't know, where women are all wonderfully honest, and you didn't grow up with around the same toxic females that I went to middle school and high school with. I have seen, like, when it comes to lying, women do it in a way that men aren't even capable of. I have seen women do the grimiest things to their best friends, to their cousins, to their sisters. Like, and you want me to just one day pretend that I've never seen a woman do a bad act and just tell me hashtag blanket believe women? Half of the stories that were coming out made entirely no sense. I mean, Amber Heard is the first one, but do you understand how many men have been accused of being rapists and abusers that on absolutely meritless claims that actually fail to pass the common sense exam? Take, for example, Matt Lauer, right? I can't stand that man. Obviously, I'm conservative leaning, and I didn't feel bad when anything happened to him because the truth is that Matt Lauer, to me, at the end, got his karma. But the claims of him being a rapist, did you look at the details of the story? Some girl who worked at ABC, decides to sleep with the boss at the Olympics. She claims he raped her at the Olympics, but then when they got back from the Olympics, she proceeded to have a year-long affair with him, going all around the city, going to his apartment. You just decided to date your rapist for a year? Oh, but then Me Too started trending, and suddenly she wanted a check from ABC, and she got the check, and that's it. Blanket, just believe her. I don't know. People, I guess, just start dating their rapists, I guess. Like, let's not ask any questions. Can't stand Matt Lauer, but that's a case that needs to be examined. Kesha, honestly, she's number one, okay? Kesha, the girl who jumped up in the morning and brushed her teeth with a bottle of Jack, right? Every one of her songs is about partying. Suddenly she wants out of her Sony contract. She accuses Dr. Luke of raping her, and she's put onto a platform, and everyone's like, oh my God, look at the photo of her crying in the back of the courtroom. Like, obviously she's telling the truth because, like, she's crying in the back of a courtroom, and no woman could ever make this face unless she was telling the truth. Like, how basic are you guys? Like, no proof, no evidence, nothing. Just, she cried in the back of a courtroom, so everyone needed to believe her. And then what happened? She quietly, after getting all of this attention, performing at the awards, oh my gosh, she's amazing, she quietly dismisses her claims against Dr. Luke because she wanted to just release new music. So, like, yeah, no, he sexually abused me. I got the narrative out there that he sexually abused me, but now I'm going to quietly dismiss my case against him, even though, like, it definitely happened. But I want to move on with my life, and I want to release new music. And also, don't forget, I was crying in the back of the courtroom. I remember I was doing this, we never do this unless we're telling the truth. what is wrong with the internet? Like, are people trying to be stupid on the internet? Like, is you just looking for something to do? Do you need a hug? Is that what it is? When a hashtag comes around, you just need a hug and you're just like, I love it. It makes me feel good. Hashtag me too. Me too was always a movement. And yes, there were a few exceptions. There are women that actually have been raped and sexually assaulted. I've always believed Rose McGowan. She strikes me as a different kind of person. I believe that something happened to her, right? But for the majority of these people, these were crazy women who had an opportunity to empower themselves. You had women that had a vengeance and wanted to get back at men that they couldn't stand. You had women that were at the bottom of their careers who wanted to climb to the top. And it worked. It worked. And so, yes, Amber Heard is the first, but she should not be the last. I hope that Dr. Luke prevails in his case against Kesha. I hope that that gets re-examined by the press. I hope that the Matt Lauer thing, that he sues people. I know that he quietly signed an agreement to leave ABC, and this was more of a corporate decision. But I can't stand him. You don't just call a man a rapist because you can't stand him. That's just not how it works, okay? Prostitution, by the way, oldest trade in the book. Suddenly we're acting like there aren't women who are actively sleeping with men because they want, I don't know, record deals or they want promotions. Like, are we all actually pretending like women are just these innocent little flowers that are walking around society? Again, where did you grow up? I would love to believe in that version of womanhood. I just want to know where you grew up, where you have not seen women do the grimiest, shystiest things ever to get what they want. Usually to get a guy. Half the time that I've seen things where I'm just like, wow, she was just sleeping with her best friend's boyfriend the whole time behind her back, but she cried in the back of the courtroom. It's very simple. Men lie. Women lie. Right? Both sexes lie all the time. Both of them do terrible things. You should never blanket believe women. You should never blanket believe men. You should never blanket believe anything but facts. Okay? When somebody makes an allegation, you should demand to see the facts. And then you should just do a little common sense test. Ask yourself if the facts line up, if they make any sense, you know? Johnny Depp just didn't pass the smell test to me. You're telling me you got a man who's been married for over a decade. He's had all of these top, these girlfriends that are in the public eye. And just like at the age of however old he is, 50, he decides to become like a crazy abusive person. Like, wouldn't his wife who divorced him, divorces are never pretty, right? Wouldn't she be like, no, there was that one year when he was drunk that like he used to whoop my butt all the time. Like, there was just no one in the history. Johnny Depp strikes me as a drunk pirate, really, honestly. I look at him and I think this brand is actually who you might be. I totally buy that he wasn't a sober person, but a violent person. He just was getting away with it forever. Like, I mean, just like raping and beating women with bottles, and there wasn't a single person that could testify that he put their hands on him, like on her. Like, it just never passed the sniff test. You know what I mean? And I just am really saying this because I hope that going forward, as these various movements collapse, like Black Lives Matter, and we're seeing now where that money went. Certainly didn't go to Black communities, but darn if all your friends didn't post Black squares and demand that you do too. As we're seeing the death of the MeToo movement, as we're seeing that all of these little trends, like more will come out about Ukraine, of course. We've just obviously laundered money through Ukraine. Obviously, like, we didn't leave Afghanistan and jump into Ukraine because our politicians are suddenly caring about Eastern Europeans, right? As all of these narratives fall, I hope that you pause and you consider the fact that you don't have to jump on a trend. Like, it's actually cool to be an individual. You don't have to do what everybody else is doing. You don't, like, it's actually super, super dope to not do what everybody else is doing. It's fun to say, like, you know what? I actually don't know anything about that, and so I'm going to keep my mouth shut. Like, maybe you're like me, you just like to garden and, like, I don't know, make some soups at home and watch your kids. You don't have to post a Black square. You don't have to use the hashtag #MeToo. And if you're a guy and you're going through the profile of a woman and you've noticed that she's both posted, like, I don't know, I love you, Dr. Fauci, mask up, save lives, hashtag #MeToo, and a Black square, don't date her. Just don't date her. Red flags for days. Doesn't have a brain cell. That's the last thing I'm going to say. Congrats to me and to all of the women who never cared and to jump on the trend and could admit that women lie just as much and maybe even more than men do. Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.